Welcome, beloveds. Welcome to Ascension Live. I am Astarius Miraculii, and today's subject is as my higher self. As my higher self. When you're faced with different experiences in your life that are confrontational, what would you do as your higher self? As my higher self, in the face of trials and tribulations, I choose to remember that which I am is most exalted and transcended beyond all pains and woes and difficulties of life. As my higher self, I would say, hear ye, O seeker, play not a game of chance. Maintain a lofty attitude to conquer lowly circumstance. For some circumstances seem so bad, though goodness in disguise. It's up to me to see the good, or else be victimized. For if a circumstance seems down, and I reject it with a frown, that circumstance is then compelled to pull me down in mental hell. But if I keep my mind on high, my gaze on high, despite the pain of circumstance, up with my attitude, the circumstance rises, and beyond its pain, I then advance. Bitter circumstance is as a medicine to bring the wellness of a learned lesson. But I must swallow this medicine down to receive the healing and achieve the blessing. For if I spit this medicine out, life gives another dose without a doubt, and then I become a victim of circumstance, a tyrant from which I can't advance until I learn to face it with a smile. Drink that bitter cup and go the extra mile, so that all things may be enhanced, because my attitude is more important than circumstance. As my higher self, I recognize that pain is an angel in distress, that exalted something within me, that exalted something within you holds the power to free the distressed angel. Pain is an angel in distress because when we pierce to the very central core of the pain, all we'll find is light. The distress is always on the surface. It cannot be the center, for light is the center. As my higher self, I realize that pain is an angel in distress. As my higher self, I realize that fear is an angel in distress. As my higher self, I pierce to the core of that fear, and I dance in the resonance of light. As my higher self, I move in the wisdom to position myself in the central core, in the I and the I am of the storm. That place of exquisite peace that is never touched by the outer turbulence of life. As my higher self, I realize that the days of the pandemic and COVID-19 are numbered. That these things will be blown into nothingness by the winds and storms of time. As my higher self, I realize that there is no darkness, no negativity, no pain, no adversity that will ever outdistance me. As my higher self, I realize that I am forever and ever and ever. As my higher self, I believe in the possibility of redemption for every being. That every being in all existence can be better, can rise to higher heights, can transcend lower vibrations, can wake up and remember the divinity within. As my higher self, I know this truth, even for those who are not ready to know that truth for themselves. As my higher self, I champion the cause of the betterment of life. As your higher self, you remember who you are, where you're from, what you're for, and that you are absolutely divine. As your higher self, you come home to your divinity. You move in the resonance of cosmic consciousness as your higher self. You recognize the reality of your being as the microcosmic container of the macrocosmic all that is. As your higher self, you realize that you have the knowledge of everything that is, was, or ever will be. As your higher self, you are in intimate relationship with all of the solutions to every problem in life. All is well in the kingdom of this divine moment. Ascended clan, I'm calling you to guide me on my way back home. I deeply yearn to now return and claim my ascension throne. The fifth dimension and beyond. Inheritance above the sky. To heaven's call, I now respond in higher realms. Forever fly. Ascended clan, I ask for this, not only for myself. Let every being upon this earth partake of heaven's wealth, even unto earth herself. She also would return to end the madness of this flesh. Fire within us burns. Please help us to remember that we all are innocent, and by mercy and compassion unto heaven we are sent. Resurrection of ascension. And God is found in man, and woe man. And we all are family members of the great ascended clan. The love of God within my heart has healed and set me free. A love that is because I am, therefore I love me. Among the great ascended clan, I am eternally as my higher self. I remember this truth. As your higher self, you remember this truth. Spirit of Miraculii, from which all miracles come, I summon you from depths of soul. My ascension now begun. Access code to every blessing. Guide to love way up on high. Melt away all things distressing and with spirit I will fly. Mirror of my infinite being, showing me the way back home. The God in me, forever free to take my place on heaven's throne. Cosmic rays of sacred sun, shining truth that all are one. So when I am greatly blessed, the prize is shared by all the rest. We are bringers of all miracles. We are born out of the light. We're seeing with the inner eye to launch into ascension's flight as the co-creative partners through which all the blessings flow. Then the miracles of Miraculii on every being we bestow. As my higher self, I live these truths. I resonate with the resonance of ascension. As your higher self, you live these truths, and you are the resonance of ascension. We're making our way back to our roots. One cosmic breath to ascension absolute. The time has been long since we have been home. We are hearing the call of a heavenly song. O infinite being in me, dream awake, and among the ascended, my place I do take. In trials of the flesh, I have been enmeshed, and in spite of it all, I still have been blessed. After hurting my brother and my sister and dishonoring my clan, my part is still vital in God's master plan. I am ending self-hatred, transcending mistakes, a brand new agreement with life I now make. For hiding myself, I paid a high cost. Time to get back that which I lost. For ending my fear and the will to attack, heaven is open and taking me back. In infinite being, I am now awake, and among the ascended, my place I do take. In infinite being, I am now awake, and among the ascended, my place I do take. Thank you, beloveds, for moving in the resonance of your higher self. Thank you for remembering that there is something within you that transcends every difficulty. Something within you that is the master of alchemy, to transform poison into potion, to transform darkness into light, to know that it is wise not to despise it, for you use the dung to fertilize it, for life's greatest connoisseur gets the best crops from the best manure. Thank you, beloved, for knowing how to utilize the shit-doodle of your life as fertilizer. That when that waste is dumped upon the soil of your soul, that you follow the wisdom of the soil and you yield a richer crop. Not so much in spite of the waste, but because of the waste. Thank you for remembering that you're meant to be empowered by everything. Thank you for remembering that you're not alone. Thank you for remembering that you are a wave in the ocean of life, and the ocean of life constitutes the oneness of the wholeness of being itself, even under God. God is absolute. And as you move in the wisdom of flowing with the tide of the ocean of life, the whole power of that ocean is then in back of you as you roll upon the shores of your life experiences. I see all you beloveds out there. I love you so much. I thank you for holding sacred space with me. I thank you for remembering along with me. We are absolutely safe at home in heaven's bed. We are in the bosom of the absoluteness from which we've come. Even though we have yet to fully get there, we're going to be where we're going before we get there, because every time is now. And the eternal resonance of our ascended master reality is also a resonance of the great now. And so we pre-memorate the great exaltation of our future, and we allow it to now harmonically converge with this now moment, and we live in the exaltation of our ascended master reality. We move in the resonance of the divine guidance of our higher self. As my higher self, I allow liberation, I allow freedom, I allow empowerment, I allow abundance, I allow immunity, I allow the liberation of our entire world as my higher self. I allow the awakening of governmental forces into guidance by the divinity within the central core of their being. I allow the dissolution of all maliciousness. I allow and let there be the glory of that which is intended to be by God, Goddess Absolute. I, my higher self, and you, your higher self. Allow these divine realities to flourish as we unfold down the corridors of our forever. Life is so delicious and wonderful. And every cell within our being is in the sacred remembrance of this deliciousness of life, in the sacred remembering of the immunity that we all hold, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We are sacredly immune. and we align in consciousness. We are immune with the immune power of God, Goddess Absolute, the whole universe. I allow and intend into being worldwide immunity. Believe that with me Believe that with me, beloveds. Intend that with me. See the immunity of our world. See the redemption of our world. See the redemption of governmental forces. See the redemption of the lower negative forces that might operate on an individual level within us. Together, let's walk each other home, back into the arms of that absoluteness, which is our eternal inheritance. All is well. All is well in the kingdom of this sacred now. So if there are any questions, put them in the chat, anything you'd like me to respond to. Meanwhile, be sure and experience my website, Astarius.com. And I have a number of music albums, a couple of books. All of the things that I am reciting are excerpts from my book, Miraculii, Song of Ascension. I also have an astrological book, Feast of the Zodiac, Wisdom of Astrology, where I've written a poem on every one of the astrological signs. I'm also available for intuitive astrological readings, sound healing transmissions with didgeridoo and vocal harmonics. I practice and teach Reiki, located here in Sedona, Arizona. Thank you all for your gracious donations that you've been sending. And if you are moved in your heart to offer a donation of appreciation, I receive donations by way of Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and a donation button on my website. So I'm watching for any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to move toward the conclusion of this transmission. I am in deep celebration of our liberation. Deep celebration of our world resolution. Deep celebration of the healing of our world crisis. We are champions of the ascension, and that is our ultimate destination. I sought for wisdom, the wisdom of all, not just this or that, but of all things large and small. My seeking has given birth to a grand discovery that the key to all wisdom is God within me. With immeasurable speed, my mind now rises up in the arms of ascension. I now wake up. Now teach me of love, the fullness of love, the love of the lowlands and the plains up above. How it blew my mind and shattered my reason to know that with perfect love, I was already seasoned. This love so strong and never to destruct, in the arms of ascension I now wake up. Now what of serenity, the one called Father, Mother of Peace? Will you now tell me within my being that also awaits release? Am I dreaming? Can this really be real? My soul all lit up, and this tranquility I feel, this peace of God, no one can interrupt. In the arms of ascension, I now wake up. How glad I am I had the inner ear to hear it. This glorious truth, the supreme message of the Spirit. To think I spent all this time searching far and wide to find I could have whatever I want through the God of my inner side. Yes, the Spirit of God has overran my cup. In the arms of ascension, I now wake up. And so someone, I believe it's Christine, asking, do you get a timeline? And the best way that I can answer that is in this now moment, I am at resonance with the oneness of the wholeness of all timelines, bringing into harmonic convergence with this now moment every benevolent resonance that exists within every timeline that is, was, or ever will be, intending also the dissolution of anything that works against the divinity of our absoluteness within any timeline. And the question may be something that you could ask even more specifically, because it wasn't as clear as I would like for it to be, but that's my response, is the oneness of the wholeness of all timelines. Let me see, what am I saying? Replying. Okay, the ascension. Naomi says the ascension timeline, sister. It is done. Amen, goddess. Yeah, it's all in divine order. And the greater wisdom is about the all-inclusiveness rather than the exclusiveness. Sometimes we become really enamored by the exclusiveness of this person or that person, or the exclusiveness of this timeline or that timeline, or the exclusiveness of this or that star system. But our greatest empowerment lies in the all-inclusiveness of all of it. And then sometimes there's a moment of specialization where we give full attention to one particular thing. It's kind of like every time is now, like all realities are simultaneous realities. You know, simultaneous expressions of the great now. The difference lies in the fact that all realities are not simultaneously activated. And yet, even when we are in the activation, it's like today, tomorrow, and yesterday are simultaneous realities, and each one being an expression of the great now. The distinction lies in the fact that we are in the resonance of today, so today is in a state of activation. Yesterday was in activation when we was dancing with yesterday. Tomorrow will come into activation when we reach tomorrow. And yet today, tomorrow, and yesterday are simultaneous realities, but not simultaneously activated. All things exist simultaneously, but have different focal points of activation. And that's one of the things that Creator shared with me that helped me to understand this reality, that everything is happening simultaneously, no past, present, and future. It used to boggle my mind. But then when Creator said everything is simultaneously, in existence, but not simultaneously activated, and then it just clicked. It was very simple. So anyway, beloveds, I love you all so much. I see my good friend Priya. Been a long time. God bless. Anyway, much love to all of you, and good fortune in all that you are and all that you do. Thank you for coming home to your absoluteness. Thank you for knowing that all is well in the kingdom of your life and your now moment, and everything is unfolding into the great absoluteness that we are intending toward. I like that, intending toward. Oh, Ashe, Amen, Namaste, Hotepin, La Keshalak, In Shalom, Satnam, Hariom, Rastafari. Our sacred juices are cooked in infinitely expanding Juicetafari, Blistafari, gonna always have many miles on our smile and a wiggle in our giggle and tingling in our boots and laughter ever after. Put in our strut, wings on our butt. We always rising up at the top. There's room for all. It's just the bottom that's crowded, y'all, and so it is, and so it shall eternally be. Wara muba hey wa ah, wara muba we wa iya, wara muba we wa wea, wara muba wa divianu, wa waku wa radum blais e suta wea. Ayaya, yuanata, ayayata, yuanata, ikraia, hota, flata, upaua, thria, rasua, kurunata, proprieta, nata, flata, ayayata, yuanata, hiealin, yuanata, esuta, yuanata, wana esuta, yuanata, ayayata, yuanata, gagade, asule, yuanata, ayayata, yuanata, hiealin, esuta. I love you so much.